I start recording. We are recording this lecture so that you can refer to it at any time. Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, I had two past papers, and I hope you have the past papers there so that you'll be able to refer to them. The first one that I had, I just looked at the questions that you didn't tick. Question 1, you didn't tick. Question 2, you didn't tick. And question 3, then you jumped to question 7. So those are the questions that I've picked. There are different types of outstrapping, present. It's somehow faint, but what is there is you need to explain briefly the following terms: owner financing, sweat equity, minimization of accounts payable, and joint utilization. Is there a need for us to go through those? Just wave at me if there is a need. If not, we proceed. Okay, so I'm sure you're able to see question 2. In challenging times like when the currency depreciates, what methods can an entrepreneur employ in order to help safeguard their business?
So,
do we need to
probably
revise this one?
we could start with question 1.
We start with question 1.
Yeah.
This one. Okay. I'll be quick. I'll still send this. You can go through them at your own time. Now, what is owner financing? You can read the notes, but let me just explain in this way. If, for instance, you are selling an asset, for instance, you are selling a laptop. If you are selling a laptop and somebody who wants to buy it doesn't have the money, so what you can do is you can finance, you can use your money to pay for that laptop. Then the person gets the laptop and he starts paying you in installments with an interest. Owner financing is a transaction in which a property seller finances the purchase directly with the person or entity buying it, either in whole or in parts. So where you are, if I'm selling a laptop which you want and you don't have the money, if the laptop is being sold at 5,000, for instance, and you may have a 3,000, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finance the difference. You only pay the 3,000 and you get a laptop. Then the difference, I'll put an interest, then you pay that money in installment. It is like I'm financing the purchase of my own property. That is what owner financing is all about. It's not different from selling on a credit, except that this, you have to have the money to give it. Okay, so I was explaining owners financing. Is there any question, or we can proceed to the next part?
You can repeat.
Thank you. I was saying, as you can read there, but the best example that I can give is a scenario where if Mr. Kaole is selling a laptop at 5,000 and I want to buy that laptop very much, but I don't have the money. But Mr. Kaole has the money. So he's going to finance the purchase of that laptop, which is his laptop. Then me, I'll get the laptop. But how does Mr. Kaole benefits? I'll be paying Mr. Kaole in installments with an interest. That is what owner financing is. It's like the owner of the asset will finance the procurement of that asset. Are we together?
Yes.
Yeah, that's better. So let's look at sweat equity. Now, sweat equity has been explained in different ways, but I thought maybe this would be easy for us to understand. It is a non-monetary benefit that a company's shareholder gives in labor and time. For instance, if I start business, I can bring in a capital of 5,000. But remember, I'll come in that business with my time, labor. So this cannot be quantified in terms of money. So when I'm valuing my business, this business from where it come up to where it is, I have put in my effort, I've put in my time. So that is a sweat equity. It is like an investment which is in non-monetary terms. So if I'm to sell the business, I will take into account the non-monetary efforts that I've put into business. So that is what is called the sweat equity. So you cannot just look at a business from the physical assets that you are able to quantify and give monetary value. Consider also the efforts and the commitment that the owner has put in to bring the business to that level where you want to buy it. That is what is called sweat equity. Any question?
No question.
Thank you very much. So, minimization of accounts payable. This one, accountants should not have a challenge. An account payable is the amount of money the company owes. So when we are minimizing it, all that we are doing is we are reducing the credit takings so as to reduce the company's owing to its suppliers of goods and services. That is what is involved in minimization of accounts payable. You reduce on borrowing.
All right.
Yes. Joint utilization, that is the use of an asset for different purposes. This is common for entrepreneurs, also traders. You can have a vehicle which you are using to ferry goods for the business, and you're also using the same vehicle to go to church and carry Dorcas mothers. That is joint utilization of assets. Is that okay?
Use of an asset for different purposes. e.g. business and personal. Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, so what is all important is when you are discussing or explaining these terms, ensure that you are attaching examples to every explanation. It demonstrates one's understanding.
All right.
Okay. So, question 2, do we need to go through it together?
Yes.
Thank you. They want you as an entrepreneur to come up with the methods that you are going to use in times when the local currency is depreciating. You can find there are a lot of methods, but I just picked about 5, I think, for the sake of this revision. The first method you do is what is called obey the golden rule of small business. So you protect your credit. Now, what is involved here is you need to ensure that
Obey the golden rule of small business.
the golden rule of small business. Now, what is involved in the golden rule of small business is to ensure that you maintain a credit worthiness. So this is all about maintaining a credit worthiness. So that whenever you have a financial crisis, you can borrow. That's what is important. I heard somebody was complaining that, no, I should pay my Airtel money I borrowed so that they don't blacklist me. All those issues, I'm sure you are aware about them. So that whenever you have a problem, you're able to borrow. So the golden rule of small business is about protect your credit worthiness. That is one method that you can use. Can we move to the next one?
Yes, please.
The next one is about make outstanding service your secret weapon. You know, how do you explain this one? You appreciate that when the currency is depreciating, the purchasing power of the currency is reducing. Therefore, customers reduce their purchase. So if your service or your product is outstanding, it will always stand a better chance. Even when they are reducing on what to buy, they will still remain buying your product. That is another method. Make outstanding service or product your secret weapon. So make outstanding service or product your secret weapon. Are we able to proceed? The third method is to figure out where you can cut expenses. Remember, the second method and the third method. Now, on the third method, it is you as the entrepreneur. Since the purchasing power of the currency has reduced, you need to reduce on your expenditure. So identify expenses that you can cut off. That's the third strategy. Figure out where you can cut expenses.
Yeah,
we proceed. Can we move on?
Yes, please.
Thank you. The fourth method, keep abreast of the news in your sector or industry. If you are in the mining industry as an entrepreneur, be informed of what is happening in the sector. That is another method that will help you survive in times when the local currency is depreciating. And the fifth one is to re-examine your credit terms. Look at the terms that you are giving to your customers. Also look at the terms that you are given by your suppliers. That will help you in the time when your currency is depreciating. So these are the 5 methods that we can lean on in an event that such a question comes.
Okay. Number 5 is fine.
Are we able to move to question number 3?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Now, on question number 3, I will request you to concentrate so much, because question number 3 and question number 7, again, the same concept has come in the other paper that you sent. And these issues were not mentioned in our modules. So it's important that we understand the concept. There are some authorities who rate entrepreneurship as economic freedom. What could their analysis be targeting, and is there any correlation? Okay. Now, the best way to understand this or to tackle this question is to look at the contribution of small business to the economy. When we are talking about entrepreneurs, what should come into your mind is the SMEs, small businesses. So, how do we tackle this question? So we start by looking at importance and the role of entrepreneurship in economic development. Because we want to, whether to agree or to disagree, the belief that entrepreneurship is economic freedom fighters. So, when you look at the dynamic techniques that entrepreneurs come up with, you'll find that, number 1, entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs create new jobs. So you just need to come up with what entrepreneur bring to the economy. Then you're able to agree that the belief that their economic freedom is very true. So job creation, then you bring in community development. You can also talk about national income. Entrepreneurs really contribute so much to the GDP. Remember that entrepreneurship has boosted the standard of living of the people. They are the ones that are bringing goods and services closer to the community. And entrepreneurship promotes research and development. So if you understand these 5 roles and the importance of entrepreneurship to economic development, then we are ready to agree to the concept that they are economic freedom fighters. Any comment or question?
Come again.
On which one?
Starting from number 3.
Starting from
After
number 3.
entrepreneurship contributes in GDP.
National income, yes.
Yes.
Number 3 is
Yes.
national income, which
Yes,
is
after national
GDP.
income. Number 4.
Number 4, boost the standard of living.
Entrepreneurs, what does?
Okay, so what we are saying is, I'm sure where you are staying, you always run to Kantemba to buy something. Not so.
Yes.
Yes. So they are making our standard of living better. There are some people who may not have enough money to go and buy things in bulk. For instance, buying a bale of sugar, 20 liters of cooking oil, you can't afford that. But you can afford a bottle of cooking oil. That is the work of an entrepreneur. That is the business of a small business owner. So they are boosting the standard of living by bringing the goods and services closer to the community. Even if the lowest in the community is able to access goods and services. That's how you can justify the boosting of the standard of living. So you can use those examples and it can help. Are we together?
Yes, please.
So we can move on. Let's look at question number 7. I have jumped question number 4, 5, and 6. I've seen you ticked them, and looking at the notes
Yes.
that I did and what I saw in the modules, I think these 3 questions were thoroughly explained in the module. Schumpeter's theory. From page 1 of the module to the last page, this man has not been mentioned and yet is examined. I don't know if we noticed that. Schumpeter's theory. Okay. Now, question number 7 in this one is similar to question number 2 in the other paper that you sent per last. So let's understand question number 7 so that as we go to the other paper, question number 2 will be easy to understand. Question number 2 in the other paper, they wanted you to discuss, is it creative destruction? Something like that. Okay, so question number 7, they are saying, what are Schumpeter's findings on entrepreneurship? And can you comment on his observations and express your opinion? Now, Schumpeter believed in creative or innovation. Now, he came up with 5 findings, which are very important to an entrepreneur. So what is on the first slide that you see is just the background of who Schumpeter is and what he believed in before he developed the 5 findings. So maybe in your own time, you can read this because this issue will be necessary in the next question, the background. That's why I put it here. So let's look at the 5 findings that he came up with. which you can comment on. He said, development is not an automatic process, but must be deliberately and actively promoted by some agents within the system. So you don't just sit and think that the country will develop. There must be deliberate efforts for certain agencies in the system for development to come. And now these agencies of development are the entrepreneurs. That's what he believed in. Are we together, colleagues?
Yes.
Beautiful. So him believed that development can only come with deliberate efforts of certain agents. And these certain agents are entrepreneurs. So once you finish reading or understanding his findings, then you can comment, do you believe in this or not? That's what is in the other papers question. The second finding is that entrepreneur is the agent who provides economic leadership that changes the initial conditions of the economy and causes discontinuous dynamic changes. So he believes that we need an entrepreneur to provide economic leadership. And I'm sure you have heard, even in our country, our leaders are encouraging entrepreneur. The country cannot be developed by other countries. We need entrepreneurs to develop our nation. So we have realized the importance of entrepreneurship in economic development. That was the second finding. Entrepreneur is the agent who provides economic leadership that changes the initial condition of the economy. Are we together?
Yes.
Can we move to the third finding?
Yes.
Okay. Finding number 3. He believed that an entrepreneur by nature is not a technician or is not a financier, but he is considered as an innovator. I usually tell colleagues that when you hear a person saying, I want to start business, but I don't have the capital, then that person is not an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur has got nothing to worry about capital. As long as you have got the idea, you have the innovativeness and the creativity, you can start business and you can succeed. So according to Stumpter, he believed that an entrepreneur by nature is not a technician or is not a financier, but an innovator. Can we move to the fourth finding, or maybe there's some comment or question?
We can go on.
The fourth finding is that entrepreneurship is not a profession or a permanent occupation. Therefore, it cannot formulate a social class like capitalists. So entrepreneurs are not capitalists. That's why if you have understood the concept of financing entrepreneurship business, you discover that capitalists are different from entrepreneurs. So that is another finding that he came up with. And the fifth one is that psychologically, entrepreneurs are not motivated by profit. So what motivates an entrepreneur, if I may ask? Because he's saying they are not motivated by profit. Then what motivates an entrepreneur?
Business opportunity.
Business opportunity. Very beautiful. You are right. Them, what motivates them is an opportunity. You are very right. So entrepreneurs are not motivated by profit. They are motivated by opportunities. Okay. This is all about the first paper. If there's any question, any area that needs a recap, I can quickly go there before we start the other paper. In the other paper, I only saw that there were only 2 questions that needed to discuss. So I prepared those. We proceed.
You can go ahead.
Thank you. I don't have the paper at the moment. Are you able to read question number 2 for me?
I see question number 4, which reads, I don't know if it's Jupiter or Scumpter, whatever.
Yes.
Borrowing from the works of Karl Marx and
Yes.
Engel, popularized the concept of creative destruction.
Yes.
How would this concept be of use to nations and individuals?
Thank you. Okay. So that's question number 4. We'll get back to question number 2 later. Now, you can only answer this question if you understand the creative destruction theory of Stumpter. No wonder I started by giving you what the theory is. So, according to Stumpter, the goal of creative destruction describes the process of industrial mutation. Now, this industrial mutation continuously revolutionizes the economic structure from within. It constantly destroys the old ones and constantly create a new one. That is what creative destruction theory is. Now, to make this simple, in our own understanding, what we are learning is that he believes that bit by bit, we will be destroying all the practices and all the goods and services, and slowly introducing new practices and new goods and services. That is a creative destruction. Is that clear?
Come again.
Okay. In our own understanding, creative destruction is a process of industrial mutation. Now, what is industrial mutation? From an entrepreneur point of view, what we are saying is it is a process of constantly destroying all the practices, all the goods and services, and constantly introducing new practices, new goods and services on our market. That is a creative destruction. Now, how does this connect to an entrepreneur? Remember that if you are to define entrepreneurship, creativity and innovativeness cannot be missed in your definition. So you find that an entrepreneur is described with innovativeness and creativity. That is cardinal to an entrepreneur. So they are the pioneers of industrial mutation, or they are the pioneers of the constantly destroying all the ways of doing things and constantly introducing new way of doing things. Are we together? I want you to understand very well this. Creativity distraction refers to the continuous product and the process innovation mechanism by which new units of production replace outdated ones. That is the creative distraction in a simple way. You can forget everything. If you pick this one, you are able to play around with it.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, so are you able to read for me question number 2? Question number 2.
Okay, this one. Question number 2 says, there has been some perceptions that entrepreneurship is in one's genes or DNA.
Yes.
Is this true or not? Are
Okay.
entrepreneurs born or circumstances make them?
Thank you. Do we need to discuss that question?
Your case.
We need to do this.
Sorry, just say again.
I'm saying, do we need to discuss that one?
It's okay.
That one is fine.
Maybe number 7. Question 7.
Question
Yes,
number,
maybe question 7.
what is question number 7? What's on number 7?
If that is helping the young students in sciences as a young entrepreneur. That's the one I'm reading.
Yes.
It says MMF, a teacher at Momba Secondary School,
Yes.
has developed a product that is helping the young students in sciences.
Mm.
As a young entrepreneur, how would he go about protecting his product?
Okay. I didn't go through that one because I saw it was marked. Maybe let me just make some few comments that I can make on that one. What we need to understand, number one, is the fact that if an entrepreneur is to succeed, number one, you must know how to compete favorably. You need to generate competitive advantage. Remember, if you start business, believe you me, within 2, 3, 4 months, another person will start that business. I'm sure my colleagues that you are with there, they're able to agree with you. Sometimes the moment you just start this business, 2, 3, 4 months, another one you see starting doing that business. Are we together? So the first step that you need to come across is to create competitive advantage. That is very key.
Yes.
Now, when we are talking of let's proceed. I was saying what is critical there is to create competitive advantage. So what did you discuss in the competitive advantage? Number one, pricing strategy. Number two, product differentiation. So You are looking at these things that will make your business stand out above other businesses. So those are the issues that the teacher was supposed to help the students on. So in terms of pricing, you look at the strategy you're going to use. Either you go for low cost pricing or you go for premium pricing. Then when it comes to product differentiation, what features are you going to put to your product that other products don't have? Then you're able to survive. So that is what is key if the business is to succeed. It's all about competitive advantage. Of course, there could be issues of PACRA, protection of your property from copyrights. That one can also be, you can say one or two things about that. So that if you are producing fritters, you're going to protect that no one should produce fritters. Okay, so those are some of the issues that you can discuss, unless if there's anything else. Mr. Kaol, are we together?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
We are together. We're just trying to, yes.
Okay. The madam there, you seem to be lost. Are we together?
Are we together?
Yes, we are together.
Okay. My brother, are we moving together? Thank you very much. Okay. No, unless if there's any other thing that I can talk about. These are the questions
I
that
feel we needed to look at this Shumpta thing. Because the last presentation.
The Shumpta thing.
You lost.
Yeah, because
where we are talking about theory.
yes. Yeah, from the look of things, I have seen it's like they would ask him from this concept, they would bring him from this aspect. So it is important that you understand. I think as I will send these notes, you'll be able to read fully and understand the background of who he is and what did he believe in. Okay. No, thank you very much and all the best.
All right, thank you.
I will soon upload this on the YouTube, then you can download and listen to it in case you need to refer to it.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. And all the best tomorrow, please. Get in an exam with confidence as people that have prepared.
Yes, we would.
Thank you.